Hello everyone, I welcome you all to my channel Revealing Concepts. In today's class, we would be solving word problems using elimination method. So let's start. The question says that if we add 1 to the numerator and subtract 1 from the denominator, a fraction reduces to 1. It becomes 1 by 2 if we only add 1 to the denominator. What is the fraction? How are we going to solve this problem? The demand of the question is to find the fraction. We all know that a fraction comprises of a numerator and a denominator. So here numerator and denominator, finding the numerator and denominator would be a priority. Once we find the numerator and denominator, then we can write the fraction and that would be the required fraction. So numerator and denominator would be the two quantities which we would be considering as x and y. So let x be the numerator and y be the denominator of the required fraction. Once we have set the variables, that is x as the numerator, y as the denominator, now let us use the given conditions to frame two equations, that is pair of linear equations in two variables. So the equation says that if we add 1 to the numerator, so if we add 1 to the numerator, that is x plus 1, and subtract 1 from the denominator, whatever is the denominator, उसमें से 1 को subtract करना है, then the fraction reduces to 1. Meaning, if you take the ratio of these two, the answer that you get or the corresponding fraction of the numerator upon denominator would be equal to 1. So this is as per the given condition. So according to given conditions, likewise, what is the second equation that you would be getting? It becomes half. What becomes half? The fraction. So now we know that the fraction ka value is half. When would it be half? If we only add 1 to the denominator. So we know that our numerator is x and there would be no change in the numerator and we just have to add 1 to the denominator. So your numerator remains the same and denominator mein 1 ko add karna hai, then the fraction becomes 1 by 2. Now we have got two equations which are linear equations in two variables. Our very first step would be to rewrite these equations into the standard form. And what is the standard form? Ax plus by equals to c. So for that we would be cross multiplying. So I would be sending this over here. So we will get x plus 1 equals to 1 into y minus 1 would be y minus 1. Similarly, I would be cross multiplying these two terms. So I'll get 2x equals to y plus 1. So here I'm supposed to take variables on one side and send the constants on the other side. So I'll get x minus y equals to minus 1 minus 1, which is x minus y equals to minus 2. Similarly, I just have to send y on the other side. So I'll get 2x minus y. Therefore, the system of linear equations is x minus y equals to minus 2 and 2x minus y equals to 1. And in any story problem, the very first step would be to use the given conditions and frame two equations. We have got two equations. Now let us use the normal elimination method, which is a 4-step method. So here if you see, step number 1 says you have to make the coefficient equal. So you have to see whether are there any coefficients which are already equal. So here the variable y has coefficients 1 in both the equations. So is there any need of doing any kind of changes? No. So we will keep the equations as it is. There would be no change in the equations because we already have variable whose coefficients are same. Let's move on to step number 2, where we have to observe the signs. If you observe the signs of the coefficients in both the equations, it is minus and minus. So if it is minus and minus, according to step number 3, who comes to the rescue? It is the cis who comes to the rescue. So if signs are similar, S for cis, you are supposed to S for subtract. So what you're going to do is you're going to subtract these two equations. So I'm writing the solutions over here. So subtracting, so let's say that this is your equation number 1 and this is your equation number 2. Subtracting equation 1 and 2. So I'll do the normal vertical subtraction. So I will get x minus y equals to minus 2 and 2x minus y equals to 1. Now since I am subtracting, therefore the signs in the second equation would be changing. That is, whatever signs are there, for every term you have to do uska opposite. So here 2x is positive, so it would be negative, minus ka plus ban jayega. Again here it is plus, so now it would be minus. Now let's perform. X minus 2x is minus x. Since this is the elimination method and step number 3 is the magical step, therefore your minus y and plus y gets cancelled. Minus 2 minus 1 is minus 3. Now minus and minus gets cancelled, and that is how you get x ka value as 3. Now once you have got x as 3, what you're going to do, according to step number 4, you're supposed to substitute this in any one of the equations. So substitute x equals to 3 in equation 1. What do we get? So what is equation 1? X minus y equals to minus 2. So you put x as 3. You have to shift 3 on the other side. So you get minus y as minus 5. Minus and minus gets cancelled, and that is how you get value of y to be equal to 5. Now you have got x as 3, y as 5, where x is your numerator, y is your denominator. Therefore, the required fraction is 3 by 5. So whenever question like this comes, where you are supposed to find the numerator and where you are supposed to find the fraction. So we know that a fraction is made up of a numerator and a denominator. So take them as your unknown quantities. Frame two equations using the given conditions. Use the elimination method or substitution method, whichever suits. Since we are currently learning the elimination method, that is why I have used elimination method, right? And get the values, write the final answer in terms of fraction, and don't just end your answer by writing value of x as 3 and y as 5, right? Now let's move on to the next question. The next question says that 5 years ago, Nuri was thrice as old as Sonu. 10 years later, Nuri will be twice as old as Sonu. How old are Nuri and Sonu? So here there are two girls, Nuri and Sonu, and we are supposed to find the ages of Nuri and Sonu. Now since we are supposed to find the ages of Nuri and Sonu, that is why we would be taking x be the age of Nuri and y be the age of Sonu. Once we have fixed the variables, now we are supposed to use the given conditions and frame the equations in the similar manner. So let's start. The condition says that 5 years ago, if this is the present age, let's write present to be very precise. Similarly over here would be present. So since x and y are the present ages, and if I say that there is a person who is 10 years old now, then 5 years back that person would be 5 years old, 10 minus 5. Similarly, if Nuri's age at present is x, then 5 years before it would be x minus 5, and Sonu ka it would be y minus 5. So here listen, 5 years ago Nuri was, so let's say 5 years ago Nuri ka age was x minus 5. Nuri was, that is equal to thrice, meaning 3 times of Sonu. So 5 years ago Sonu would be y minus 5. And how are we writing this? This is according to the given conditions. I hope you have all understood this, because we have taken x to be the present age. Therefore 5 years ago age of Sonu would be x minus 5 according to the given condition. 5 years ago Sonu's age was, that is it was equal to 3 times that of Nuri's age was 3 times equal to that of Sonu's age. So now let us first simplify this and get the equation. So I would be multiplying 3 with every term, 3y minus 15. So x minus 3y would be minus 15 plus 5. So x minus 3y would be equal to minus 10, and this is your equation number 1. Now again, use the given condition and form the second equation. It says that 10 years later, after 10 years from the present time. So after 10 years meaning you have to add, because after meaning the age goes on increasing. So they say that x plus 10, Nuri's age will be twice as old as Sonu. So here it was thrice, but now after 10 years Nuri's age would be 2 times that of Sonu's age. Again we are going to simplify. So we will get 2y plus 20. Let's move on. 2y on this side and 10 on the other side. So x minus 2y equals to 10. So this is your equation number 2. So again you are going to write the system of linear equations is x minus 3y equals to minus 10 and x plus 2y, x minus 2y equals to 10. Now that you have got the system of linear equations, let us use the normal elimination method to find the values of x and y. So according to step number 1, you're first going to see whether there is a need to make the coefficients of any one variable same or not. Again, this is the case if you see clearly. Of course, the variables for the coefficients for y are different, but again the coefficient for x is 1 in both the cases. So we don't have to actually perform step number 1. Let's move on to step number 2 of observing. If you observe, again the signs of the coefficients of x in both the equations is the same. So again here who comes to the rescue? It is sister or sis who comes to the rescue. So if signs are similar, then SIS may similar signs are supposed to be subtracted. So we are going to subtract equation 1 and 2. So we will say subtracting equation 1 and 2. So let us write equation 1, which is x minus 3y equals to minus 10, and equation 2 is x minus 2y equals to 10. Again, since we are subtracting both of them, therefore the sign would change. So here it was plus, it would become minus, minus would become plus, plus would become minus. Minus 10 and minus 10 would become minus 20. Minus 3y plus 2y would be minus y, and your x and x gets cancelled, because again this is the step number 3, the magical step where your elimination actually comes into picture and one term has been eliminated completely. So you get, again minus and minus gets cancelled. So you get y to be equal to 20. This is basically whose age? This is Sonu's age. Now once we have got y ka value is 20, let us use this in any one of the equation. So substitute y equals to 20 in equation 1. This is your equation 1. So x minus 3y equals to minus 10. So x minus 3 into 20 equals to minus 10. We all know that 3 into 20 is 60. And when you shift 60 on the other side, we get minus 10 plus 60. Minus 10 plus 60 is plus 50. So we got x as 50, and therefore the final statement would be, I'll be writing it over here, age of Nuri is 50 years and Sonu is 30 years old. Now I just want to tell you that if at all you get answer negative in this case, that wouldn't be possible. It means that you have done a calculation mistake. And why am I saying this with so confidence? Here it might be possible that the values of x and y might be negative, but in this case it cannot be negative because they are asking us to find the value for the ages. And have we ever heard that somebody is minus 10 years old? No, that's not possible. So in exam, if at all you get a negative value when the question is about finding the ages of anybody, then you need to actually recheck and see, because there might be any calculation mistake. So the agenda for today is completed. We actually solved 2 story problems or word problems using elimination method. So with this we come to the end of today's class. Thank you so much.